NRG G2 winner gets phase, and game 1 is underway.
It's all about the emotions of these players, how they're feeling, the comfortability on that stage. They've got to find the momentum, find their stride. The classic matchup, G2 versus NRG. This is sure to deliver some of the best Rocket League we've seen all tournament long.
Already a hot start for NRG. We've seen this matchup played oh so many times, and we've seen the results sway back and forth. But who takes it when it matters most?
The next chapter in a storied rivalry between legends all over the field. Atomic, kind of the newest member of this fraternity. That's reflected by Garrett G. Squishy waiting patiently, and he's going to give way to Justin, looking for an opening at all in the G2 defense. One presents itself as Justin plays one across, but Squishy has to stay back. Familiar position as he was so great yesterday in their qualifying match. Justin's shot just over the bar. JNaps deflects out of harm's way.
Absolutely, NRG, they have aged like fine wine here at the World Championship. Started off rough, but slowly found the structure they needed and were so desperately lacking. You got Squishy in the backfield, Justin, of course, playing forward, and then maybe Atomic with a double tap. Man's had to interrupt me, and almost got a highlight play out of it. But NRG, like I talked about, the structured defense. Squishy in the backfield, Garrett G filling out the midfield, then of course you throw Justin forward to do what he does best, and they looked fantastic yesterday against Semper.
But can they keep it up with the offense that G2's been able to bring out? You saw Atomic line up that double. If he gets more opportunities like that with free space, it could be a goal for G2. JNaps with the shot on, and Garrett G able to get the save. Good clear from Justin, trying to follow it up. Chicago has to go and make contact with that. Squishy. Now Squishy can't get it through. JNaps again coming in clutch for G2.
So important to get that early pressure, that first goal. It's oh so important to slow down G2's momentum, stop them from getting the snowball rolling downhill. But it's G2 on the attack. JNaps coming up empty. Chicago, no double available. Justin there defensively for the General, and NRG once again shut the door. Can they turn it into offense? No, Justin, no shot.
Feathering his boost, Justin looking for a mechanical play, and I think we can understand what G2 are most likely going to try and implement here on offense. It's going to be good 50-50s from the corner, and then consecutive shots in a row, passing this ball into the midfield. It's what they do best. The chemistry, I think, is unmatched in North America. G2 reigning supreme in that category, but it can definitely be disrupted with a player like Squishy in the backfield.
Chance there, Chicago putting a shot on, and it's in! G2 Esports starts the series off with the first goal.
First goal for G2, and it's from Atomic in the corner, wins one challenge, and then dunks the follow-up to get it out to Chicago. And the Windy City strikes first.
2 minutes remaining in game 1. G2 set the tone, the offense pays off. They're trying to look for some more NRG. See Squishy with that touch up. Justin racing Chicago. No one makes contact with the ball. JNaps gets the boost. Chicago tries to play it to Atomic, who has to rush that into the corner. G2 starting to scramble a bit. JNaps trying to get it under control, goes off the ceiling, but Squishy up, hits it into his own corner. As battle for control, that one goes high and off the back wall. NRG looking for a counterattack.
They've just been so close, but yet so far, Daz. I mean, we've seen Justin a few times. He's had a couple good looks. He just has not connected, and that will miss oh so costly as G2 marches right down the field. Chicago adds a second.
2 in a row for Chicago. That one started as well from the corners. G2 Esports, they've come to play in game number 1. They haven't hit the stage in about 2 days. Had a long break, but it hasn't affected them. You can see they put in the work, put in the training, and they're fired up, ready to go already in game 1.
Fired up and ready to go, and with a 2-goal lead. Garrett tries to get that midfield past Chicago. Squishy plays it out. Justin will get denied by JNaps. And NRG not showing success on the offense. G2 with this game under complete control. As Justin will try again, looking for Garrett on the connection. Garrett does connect, but G2 has been there every time to deny shot opportunities from NRG as the time ticks down.
It feels like NRG doesn't have a single shot. Certainly no quality shots on the G2 net. G2 has thoroughly dominated this game, but only the 2-goal lead, 30 seconds left. Plenty of time for NRG to turn it on its head. It could start here with Squishy, though denied by the entire G2 army. Now Justin can't get a pass away, can't get a shot off, and that's been the theme of game number 1 for NRG. Now Garrett G will try. Flip reset doesn't yield anything. Justin, one touch to center. It's sent right back to the corner. Dropped in front again. Atomic clears away, and G2 with a clinical shutout in game number 1.
Atomic keeping it up, looking for more.
Maybe
and this one with a goal.
Maybe
hits the ground.
Would have been the exclamation point on a thoroughly dominant effort from G2 trying to unseat the defending champions.
Absolutely, but this is a similar series start to what we saw yesterday for NRG against Semper. It was a slow start. They dropped game 1. Even in game 2, they didn't score first, and NRG had to get into that series after a couple of attempts on net, a couple of shots to find their rhythm. The only difference is you're looking at a G2 defense. NRG were held scoreless in game 1, and even with all that pressure at the end, all those shots, they couldn't crack the armor and break through.
Equal on the shot count between both these teams, but G2 just that much more efficient when they're on offense. For NRG, they have to be a little bit more successful on the drives. It hasn't worked out well for them so far, and G2 is a team that will communicate, make adaptations, and you have your opportunities, because they did have opportunities. It wasn't like, you know, it was a shutout, like you said, Stacks, but NRG was able to get the ball up in front. They did have some extended pressure for a little bit. They just have to find those finishes.
I think the pieces are all there. They just have to convert simply at the end of the day. Whenever you're given that opportunity in front of the net, the shot's got to be powerful enough to even make a player out of G2 overextend or get out of rotation. There wasn't anything that looked dangerous from NRG. Pressure was there. The foundation was there. Now the question is, can you add that little cherry on top on the offensive side and get things moving?
It wasn't a lack of opportunities at all for NRG. Plenty presented themselves, but a lot of missed chances leads to a shutout from G2. Can they repeat that effort here on Aquadome?
One tick on the box for G2, straight to the semifinals. But can they get the rest? NRG starting this one out with some offensive control. But this finally gets into the midfield. You see the race between Squishy and JNAPS, and Squishy gets there first, keeping the ball in the orange half.
Yeah, that's pivotal from Squishy in the midfield, and it's led to a shot on target. The first goal for NRG.
They finally find success. Justin gets a great challenge win. You see Chicago looking for a piece of the ball, but Justin comes up again to make sure that goes in for NRG.
NRG needs a lot more of that. They've had their opportunities. They've just been one touch away, one challenge away. We've seen a lot of whiffs in game 1 where we don't normally see that from the reigning champs. Now they're here to play. Garrett G pushes one just wide.
Getting creative, landing under the ball, but just a second as this clear does go far down the other end, crossbar down and out, then over to Atomic, the recovery. And then here comes Chicago, can't find the accuracy. Justin gets the clear out, and NRG, hold on.
They hold on, things are starting to speed up though here on Aquadome. Squishy with a good challenge win. You see Justin now coming up. They have Garrett in the midfield, but he has to back off pass play as JNAPS plays this into the NRG side. Both teams finally starting to slow down, but you can see again, G2 getting a little too aggressive out in front, and sometimes that can put them in a bad spot.
Justin up top, this gets through, and JNAPS right there, the last line of defense as G2 keeps it a 1-0 game. But now Squishy out of the corner for Garrett G. He can take this himself, and he's met by Chicago. Two players with plenty of history in the RLCS. That one's deflected back into the corner. And Garrett G has to chase it down with Atomic trying to take him out. Oh, Garrett G could be downfield, and again, Atomic right there. And G2 lands it or shot and almost score on the other side. Follow is off the bar, down and away, and one more clearance by Justin.
It's a little concerning, G2. I mean, these are some really good offensive drives, but the shots have not hit the back of the net. They've been a little too high, just barely off the mark. It's still a one-goal game.
Oh,
As G2 try again, Atomic was waiting there in the midfield, has to retreat though after the clear.
Game 2 MVP going to the crossbar, at least within the first half. And then now it looks like a team bump on the play from G2 Esports. They landed all over each other. More demos getting taken out, and Garrett G is getting physical on the pitch. Squishy's coming in for a backboard redirect. Doesn't find it, but more and more time wasted off the clock, and stronger shots are coming through for G2.
It's just getting tougher and tougher for NRG to keep them at bay, but they've answered the bell every single time. Down to 2:15. Chicago over Garrett, and then Squishy in the way. Just barely keeping G2 out again, as here goes the captain, stuffed by Atomic, and Squishy has to take over from the back line again.
Doing solid work here. Less than 2 minutes remaining. G2 have been knocking on the door, but they've been denied every single time. Justin, off the ceiling, plays that to JNAP.
Control.
Not a lot of boost here, so 50 gets played downfield. NRG hold off defensively, but they haven't been able to break out. They haven't been able to add any more shots to the total. If they keep playing defense, it's only going to be a matter of time before G2 find a hole in the armor.
And that's a risky play style, and to me, it looks like NRG want to get more passive and try and stay as defensive as possible. Run the clock down. They're fine with just maintaining this one-goal lead. A demo in the air, another shot above, if not on the crossbar for G2.
Oh, man. But the chances keep increasing. We're approaching the final minute in game 2. And the goal to start us off have not been met. Chance here, Chicago is going to turn off of it. Tries to put a light lob up. Justin takes control. And he's going to try to take this all the way downfield, looking for the 50 out in front. Gets to Garrett G, looking for the double. It's on. Squishy can't get the follow-up, has to turn off. Chance here for G2 to make a counterattack.
Had to cut right at midfield, otherwise G2 was going to walk into an open net. Chicago looking to equalize. Garrett G way up high to meet him. And now Garrett trying to streak downfield, but Justin can't hit him. Intercepted by Atomic, looking for the tie. It comes down to Chicago, but not quite where it needed to be. So JNAPS has to retreat and reset.
NRG, they must stand tall. The final 30 seconds, Justin gets bumped out of the way. G2 getting more physical. Here comes JNAPS, a 1v1 in the air, a battle won by NRG, and they keep finding the clears, wasting as much precious time off this clock.
Final few seconds. G2 need this drive.
JNAPS there.
To put it in! Saved on the goal line by Squishy. Atomic tries to play it out. Garrett has it. No boost. G2 looking to turn this around. Can Atomic get it all the way in front of the goal line? He's trying, but that one will hit the ground. The General, NRG, take game 2.
Battle back. Game number 2. All NRG. They were stuck on defense for what felt like the majority of the game, but they were finding the saves. And I think we can give a lot of credit to, like I talked about, the crossbar being the MVP. G2. Maybe if there was more accuracy, we would have seen at least a tied-up game, Daz.
Definitely could have. I mean, so many chances. I mean, like you said, if you look at the shots, over 10 for G2. So much pressure. It was very obvious that they had everything lined up, but the finishing needs work. As once NRG got on the board, you can see it here in Mobile 1 high performance replay, that goal was all she wrote. In game 2, NRG put on a defensive masterclass.
I don't think we've yet to see either of these teams at their peak in this series. They're warming up to that point. We started to see G2 get a little close there. They started to return to their old form. They started peppering the NRG net with shot after shot, really testing the NRG defense. And fair play to especially Justin, who we usually talk about Squishy being the defender for NRG, but Justin had to pick up a lot of the slack and did so.
And we've seen a formation from NRG where they'll actually send 2 players back and frequently put 2 players in the goal. Maybe they're expecting a barrage of shots to come out from G2 Esports. We've got the next game coming up. Game number 3, all tied up. Who will find themselves in the lead? We'll have to wait and see.
It's a battle in this quarterfinals matchup against the G2 Army and the General NRG. And right now, it's all tied up. But someone is gonna come away here on DFH Stadium. Can G2 make the adaptations? Can they finally find the scoring? Can NRG continue to deliver on defense?
Good win by Atomic. That sets up JNAPS with Garrett G as the last line of defense, trying to dive bomb onto one and Chicago in the way again. He's been great defensively for G2. He's also got both goals. Start thinking about MVP performances. It may indeed be Reed who's got it as the infield pass is sent away. JNAP's effort denied by NRG. Chicago banking one right back in, and JNAP's is waiting, but he's stopped by Squishy.
I'm impressed. NRG, they have got G2 Esports downloaded, at least for the first minute of game number 3. JNAP's is in the air, waiting, and then a pass down to Chicago. You think they're downloaded, but NRG can't get in the way of this midfield pass. It's too strong, it's too accurate, and of course, G2 strike first.
It's all about angles. G2 have been trying to get that ball to Chicago time and time again. They got it there a couple of times. Third time's the charm as Chicago finally bounces one through, and G2 strikes first this time. We've had back-to-back shutouts. Somebody has to answer now for NRG.
That's the question. How can they perform when they play from behind? So far, it's been tough for them this series. But oh my, a big mistake. Chance here for Chicago to add to the lead, and it goes in!
They're a mess. They're an absolute mess right now. This ball just off the crossbar and everybody in panic mode trying to recover. And Garrett just out of his reach. Chicago's got all 4 for G2.
Out of the reach indeed for NRG. G2 Esports smacking this ball off the backboard, finding insurmountable amount of power. And I think that's what's been able to open up opportunities, create shooting lanes. NRG previously would find some reads off the backboard, be able to intercept the passes, but with the speed behind this ball, it doesn't even matter if you know where G2 are trying to go. Finding that prediction seems to be impossible.
The question is, for the remaining 3 minutes, can NRG do something that we haven't seen all series long, which is score 2, at least try to tie it up? They're gonna need to really pull out the stops here on offense. And like I said, G2, they have a hand lock on this game right now. A lot of time left for NRG, but they got to get things going.
G2 trying to add one more that certainly wouldn't put things out of reach, but it would feel like a massive hill for NRG to climb, as if it isn't tall enough already. Atomic with interference in front, trying to find JNAP's in the middle. It instead finds Chicago down towards Atomic and Garrett G. Great defense coming in from behind to disrupt the play and give NRG a shot at getting downfield and getting on the attack. And what a read defensively. G2 stifle NRG again.
To me, it really comes down to the quality of the pass that comes out from G2 Esports. The players are certainly in the position to receive, as is Chicago, who opts to not go for that ball. Squishy, a big clear down the other side. JNAP's wasn't in position right away, and it looked like it almost fell through. Even with a great pass, they can't break down the G2 defense.
Like you said, great pass, but just a little too slow there on that follow-up shot. Now NRG have to try again. Here's Garrett going in the air, off the ceiling. You see Squishy trying to debate where to turn in, but now Atomic plays this one, trying to get on the wall, trying to make Justin uncomfortable. But Justin, great control to get this one into the midfield. NRG are having a tough time just, again, taking possession here as G2 making sure to control the midfield, running down the clock.
Chicago again, and he almost managed to get that center. JNAP's did, but Atomic not diving in. And I think that's very wise from G2. They're not setting the house. 2-goal lead, why would you? Just manage the clock, manage possession. Garrett G throwing one downfield, he let it get away. Now Justin has Garrett up ahead, and his redirect is met rudely by Atomic as G2 continues to pitch another shutout. JNAP's in the way, paid the price for his defensive effort. Now Squishy to center for Garrett G. Off the corner, Justin double, not there, and it's popped away. Very patient attack here from NRG, but they still trail by 2.
And they're prioritizing keeping that possession with these touches, even if you're falling back, opting to not go for the shot, instead pass it to your teammate. Hold on to some pressure. It does die down with 40 seconds left. NRG, they need 2. Can they find it? Justin up for the shot, intercepted by G2.
I don't think there's enough time. G2 in control. You see JNAP trying to get that through. Good touch on from Garrett, but when G2 have this lead, it just feels like a mountain, and it's just so hard for NRG to climb it. Pinch out. Can Squishy get there in time? Chicago looking for the cutoff. Chicago will have that fully in control.
Final countdown of game 3. They gotta have one here, and they're not gonna get it. Atomic with one last big clear, and time's gonna run out on NRG as it spiked to the ground. They couldn't buy a goal in game 3. All shutouts so far as G2 is halfway to the semis.
And they saw the defensive performance out of NRG in the previous game and said, okay, we'll match that and perform, if not better on defense. We'll get 2 goals and then hold it down on offense. We won't even let you go past the midfield line as much as you want to. And with that performance, they were able to hold on. Chicago, 2 goals to his name. He was putting in work in game 1. Of course, comes out game number 3.
Chicago 4, NRG 1. That's the series score right now. It is incredible what he's been able to put forth as G2. They have struggled to get their good looks against NRG in the odd-numbered games, but they haven't needed to run up the score because the defense has been so good.
That's true, and with Chicago being able to score every goal G2 has right now, like you had said earlier, have to keep eyes on him over the course of this series. He's definitely been stepping up as G2. 2 games away from FaZe Clan. They look in form. NRG, again, it's really just that offense that comes out. We know that they can make those defensive stops, but it's almost the same thing we saw from the Semper series, where they have to get things going in the upper third.
We've talked so much about difference makers behind the teams, and that's one right there. Sathiu has been a boon, as much as Atomic has for sure for G2. And now they are 2 wins away from a spot in the semifinals and guaranteeing that there will be a brand new world champion at the end of the day.
We started this series off saying that these 2 teams are getting warmed up. Game 1, a little bit slower pace, very patient approach. Game 2, similar. But as we got into game 3 and now into game 4, these teams have been speeding up, utilizing more boost. Justin, in particular, getting more aggressive. High-level mechanics sure to come out within the next few games. And that might just be the difference maker between what these 2 have to offer.
NRG is having a real tough time just getting quality possessions against G2 right now. It feels like the possession has to favor G2 greatly, probably 70-30 at least over the last couple of games. This one starting off very similarly. Squishy, though, great control, great focus as he avoids all the contact, at least got that ball away, bought his teammates time, and now Garrett can come in and help out.
See the demo game 1 G2, though. They know if NRG wants to play defensively, they will try their best to push through them, make their opportunities as easy as possible. That man, Atomic.
Wow.
Dropping it to JNaps. Chance for JNaps. There's 2 on the backboard for NRG. Justin goes first. Squishy stays on the backboard. He's able to get this touch out, but still, G2, every step of the way, they are on top of the ball. They are hunting for any sign of weakness for NRG.
And that's exactly right, Daz. On top of the ball, at any given moment, they're going to the backboard of NRG, waiting there patiently, and then you think a shot's gonna come out or even a clear from NRG, but then somebody like Atomic is right in front of it and can get the pass back, and that's what's creating this level of possession that NRG can't match and can't find a clear against. We'll look at Atomic, his rotation, getting aggressive, going for a bumper, maybe even a shot, save from Squishy.
Unbelievable that he's able to make that read. Time travel really must be possible. This goes across and Justin lays it over to the side. Garrett couldn't quite park the bus there and get the redirect. It would have been on target. So Justin had to kind of save the play. Here's Garrett now, trying to get around, and again, G2 just swarming NRG on the offensive end of the field. Justin can't stay with this play, so it's right back in at Garrett and Squishy. And G2 continues this nearly relentless assault against the General. Oh, chance for Garrett, and again Chicago in the way. Still available, and Atomic snuffs it out.
A little bit of a team bump there from G2, but that's a tough
Justin's
ball.
alone.
There's a demo, though. Garrett ends up taking out JNaps, so it buys NRG some time. But here they are again, still having to stop the onslaught of the G2 army. Passed out. Atomic tries to get control. Justin able to beat him in the race. Garrett in Chicago, 50 on the side. JNaps looking for a high touch. He's able to get it, but not really too dangerous for NRG. We're approaching the 2-minute mark. We're still scoreless. G2 still in front.
Oh, what a pass.
Chance here. Does he find it? No, it's off the post.
G2, they're definitely working for it. So close, they haven't earned their first goal yet.
Oh, they're at a boost.
That's thanks to NRG and this immaculate defense that's standing up. but the tension is building between the teams. Scoreless in game number 4. We're coming down to the final minute.
Justin clearly does not look comfortable on the back lines. G2 are chasing him all over the place. He's got to have his head on a swivel as he dropped one down in front. And JNAP with Chicago running interference. Great control by Garrett G to avoid the contact and make the stop. We remain scoreless, but for how much longer? No offense there out of NRG.
Big speed.
It's JNAP's around the boards. Try to drop one in front, and it's just not there. Chicago has to chase to the corner, and then JNAP's denied. Garrett G up ahead, but Squishy's running interference out there for a pass.
Trying to take out Atomic. Final minute. NRG bearing down. Can Justin get that? That's going to go straight down. Garrett doesn't have the read. Squishy sending it across. No one there for NRG. Under a minute remaining in this game. And as hard as G2 have pushed, they have not been able to break through the NRG defense.
Am I doing it?
No! Squishy denies! It's still scoreless!
Squishy, the guardian angel for NRG, but he's not there for this one. It's Atomic to end the drought and get the first goal for G2.
They pulled Squishy out. A miss from Garrett on the back wall. And Atomic able to put that one in for G2. 33 seconds remaining in regulation. If G2 can hold on to this one, it's a big match point situation for them.
A slight shake of the head there from Justin, who was close, but not quite close enough. And now Chicago dumping one right back in with 20 seconds left. And he's going to keep harassing the NRG defense.
Double tap.
Forcing them to act, forcing them to keep this ball close to the vest. Now Squishy finally gets one away, but there's nobody to pass to. This will fall to Justin. Can't make good on it. Now with 5 seconds left, Garrett has to retreat. He can't get there in time. Chicago strikes again.
G2 charge forward. Atomic pushes through, leaves a lane for Chicago, and off the post, and in this time, G2 submit game 4, and they put NRG in a 3-1 match point situation. Ball will hit the ground. And 1 life left for NRG.
Game 1, 2-0. Game 3, 2-0. Game 4, 2-0. Noticing a trend here. Another shutout as G2 keeps NRG at bay, and the stat we've heard all weekend long. The first to 3 does not give up the lead.
Maybe, do we get a difference though? This is the defending world champs. Their backs are against the wall. Everything has to get thrown out on the pitch in this next game. And do they have what it takes to really make that adjustment, Daz? As we just got news, there is in fact a timeout taken for NRG.
Shots are 12-2 in that game. I mean, that is worse, I think, than game 1. I mean, that felt like a 4-0 game. That felt like a 5-0 game with all the opportunities that G2 had. NRG just could not get it going. They could not get quality possessions. I think they had one really good look at the G2 net. Other than that, it was all G2 Esports. And unless something changes out of this timeout, and Sizz is probably the guy to do it. He knows these guys better than anybody. But something drastically has to change for a team that only has 1 goal from Justin.
For me, with these extra 60 seconds, it's all about calming the mental. I think NRG, with that structured performance that we saw yesterday against Semper, you need to be a little bit more fluid, of course, but I still like the idea of keeping Squishy back, having Garrett G get more involved on the offense, and then, of course, throwing Justin forward. That's the plan. The mentality is what you need to calm now for NRG. The defending champs, I'll say it again, they are hungry out here to try and smack G2 down, or at least push this to game number 7, Daz.
I mean, you got 1 timeout, and you're in a situation with everything on the line, the season on the line, everything you've worked so hard for. They gotta talk about it. They gotta think it through.
Yeah. I think that it might be a little bit too quiet in here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and ask. Dickies Arena, let's make some noise.
There we go.
We need to lighten the tension a little bit, come on. 13,000 people in attendance. It's gonna get loud. It's gonna get nerve-wracking for these players on the pitch, and especially for NRG with their backs against the wall.
Here we go. Wasteland, baby. Game 5 could be the end of a 974-day World Championship reign. Here comes Chicago, looking for the opening shot. And Garrett G sends it away. Here goes Squishy now. We'll see if he is a lot more forward. He probably has to be for NRG as Justin's denied by JNAP.
You have to leave everything out there if you're NRG, because look at how G2 are striking. JNAP was looking for the top right corner, denied. As we pick up almost where we've left off. Chance there, another shot from JNAP. This time, Justin able to make the save.
It's all about how you move out of the defensive side for NRG. You're under so much pressure, you don't have any boost, but still you have to find a way to march downfield when there's shots like this coming at you. Left and right, Daz. What can you do?
Nothing, because nothing is stopping Chicago from putting that in the back of the net. Beautiful shot just under the crossbar. G2 march forward.
Even if Squishy doesn't kind of run up on that ramp there, he's not catching that. Chicago shot, perfect. Now JNAP's, I'm sure they're looking for another way to find Chicago. Why not? Here he goes, but that's well off the mark. Now Atomic threatening to jump in. That forces Justin into action, and then get the bump on JNAP's. Just the ball lobbed downfield into a space, not to a teammate who can run onto it as JNAP throws one up. Atomic, it's denied by Squishy.
Squishy able to get a solid touch there, but G2 still on the press. Atomic past midfield. Who's there? Chicago.
Oh.
Good 50 out there on the side, but it feels like NRG are playing catch up at this point.
I mean, this ball is still stuck in the NRG half, but Squishy gets around one player, dribbling past him. Might be the move, at least to try and slow things down, keep possession, keep pressure. Justin, a flip reset opportunity. Almost worked out. One of the best looks we have seen from NRG, but just like that, we are back down the other end.
Decent amount of boost for Justin, trying to carry this all the way through.
Oh.
And it's off the post. Garrett trying to keep this in. Pass out between JNAP and Chicago to relieve the pressure. Solid performance from NRG, but G2 looking the other way.
NRG fighting for survival. Already down a goal as we near the halfway mark of what could be the final game of their tournament. Demo in the corner. JNAP's gonna take his time. Squishy forces the issue. And Justin can't take the possession away either. There's no shot here as Garrett has to play one across. And JNAP, not a lot in the tank, but enough to be a nuisance, but he's denied by Squishy. And Justin, only temporarily. This goes all the way across where JNAP is waiting down in front, and Justin pops one away with Atomic lurking. Oh, shot on here is saved away. Chicago getting it done on both halves of the field. But now this is where NRG has to make their move. We need a game that's not a shutout if the reigning champs are going to get this to Neo Tokyo. And one bounced in, sent away by Squishy and Justin.
We had a double commit on the field, but Squishy did have their back as that third man, and an explosive performance from NRG when they do get out from this onslaught of an offense that is G2. They can find one, maybe two good looks. The accuracy, it needs to be there. Their efficiency and ability to convert has to be flawless with the little amount of time they're getting on the offensive side.
Nerves and pressure building. Season on the line and time ticking down. You need a goal. You need to stop Atomic, and you just can't do it!
Atomic adds his second, and it could be the dagger. Up high, down hard, 2-0 G2.
NRG, too slow on these rotations. They have the positioning. They can see the shot coming in, but that last man back just can't get there in time for the save. But there's a shot from Garrett G that might start things early. And I say early when there's only 1 minute and 24 seconds left. One goal here, and you might get a chance to find the second.
Approaching the final minute in what could be the last game of NRG season. They're gonna have to perform and show us magic if they want to have a chance. What more does the General have in the tank? Justin battling downfield. Space here. Garrett hits off the crossbar. Justin trying to keep this alive, has to get it past 2. 50 out, but Chicago pops it in the air, giving G2 space. Squishy looking for the infield. Amazing cutout from Atomic. He had 0 boost, but still ball moving forward. NRG giving everything on this drive, but G2 matching them every step of the way. Garrett testing shot, and it's an easy save for JNAPS.
NRG has to send everything forward now. It doesn't matter if they give up a third goal, if they can't get 1 or 2 of their own. Justin's got to circle around here, and JNAP still got a piece of that ball. So now Garrett with a full tank. Lob one up. Atomic intercepts down to 15 seconds. Justin gonna lose the race here as JNAPS keeps it at midfield.
He needs one.
Squishy gotta go deep into the bag of tricks. Got the bump, and Justin's denied by Atomic. Down to 5 seconds left, and the World Championship reign is all over. G2 gets FaZe in the semis.
We will crown a new champion in the Dickies Arena.
Tell you what, every time you see a champion on their last legs, they get that second wind, that sudden burst of energy. We saw it there from the General. We saw them give every last bit they had to try and get at least one on the board. And G2 took NRG's best shot and sent them away every single time.
I mean, they were simply suffocated on the defensive end. I mean, even with Squishy and the defensive performance that he has had within the past 2 days, it's not enough to take down G2 Esports. So many shots getting fired at you from the left, from the right, 50-50s not going your way. And for G2 Esports, it's a fundamental gameplay, it's a clean gameplay, and it's one that looks to be peaking at the moment, Daz. They are scary moving into the semis.
You talked about this matchup. People tried to break it down. They talked about the history. But this is a completely different environment, a completely different G2. And they are in form as they are looking at the trophy. They're almost there.
I mean, Chicago was just ungodly in that series. Unbelievable stuff. 6 goals and an assist. Going back to their series yesterday, back in the start of the group stage. 21 out of the 23 goals for G2. Chicago has had a hand in. He's either scored or assisted on them. Those are MVP numbers. You could almost seal the case right there. If they get to the finals, if they can get by FaZe, good luck, by the way, FaZe, shutting that down. You already have a clear-cut MVP candidate, but there is still work to do.
And I love the storyline that was there on the field and on the stage. You know, veterans battling it out. Gary G, Chicago, JNAPS, of course. Squishy now, been in the scene for so long, fighting against each other. Unfortunate that one of them did have to get knocked down, and it happened to be the defending world champs. And boy, oh boy, somebody new gets to raise that trophy, Daz. This is going to be a much more exciting event. The environment, the atmosphere, like you said, it is different now. There will be a new team taking home the championship.
Trophy's over there.
Right there.
We're gonna see who can go get it. That's for sure. It's G2. An amazing performance. We got Orb on the stage here to chat with one of the players.
Dickies Arena, hi again. Please give it up for your winners, G2 Esports. That must feel pretty good to hear.
Does feel pretty good, yeah.
You are no stranger to this stage. You've been here before. How does it feel to now be qualified for the semifinals for this Worlds?
I mean, it feels great, but at this point, we're so far in the tournament, we just want to go all the way. And I know for me in Chicago, we want to get revenge on New Jersey and finally take home the first place.
I mean, there in season 9, a lot of people consider you guys the favorites. Then the pandemic happened. We've all seen it. Is this a little bit of a redemption for you?
I mean, I think when people say we should have deserved the World Championship in Season 9, I think it's unfair to Dignitas, who was also #1 in EU. So, I mean, this time around, it doesn't feel like we missed out in Season 9. So,
Now for this series against NRG, did you guys study NRG? Did you plan anything particular just for them here on stage?
We did do some replay review on NRG, but I think our scrims were going so well that we just kind of looked at it and had like really casual conversation, and we didn't try to look too much into it because of how we've been playing. We felt we're playing really well in scrims.
Now, a team consists of 3 players here, your 2 teammates, Atomic and Chicago. What do you have to say about them?
I mean, today in this series, I couldn't shoot the ball, so Reed Curry was showing up. He's been showing up all tournament, and I think Atomic is one of the best players in the world right now, and I'm so happy we were able to pick him up.
Do you have one final message for the fans here tonight and the G2 Army watching from home?
I just want to thank everyone for being by my side for almost 6 years now, and I hope I can continue to show the G2 fans what we're made of in the future.
Dickies Arena, give it up! J-Nabs at G2 Esports advancing to the semi-finals. Now, as you know, like I said before, we have more series coming up. BDS versus K-Corp coming up next.